So let's just pick away, shall we, at this stuff. I'm like I said, I can't even remotely cover the volume of lunacy. Like one of these videos would, it's in between the spikes of absolute lunacy. There is oceans of boring, repetitive, wannabe, conspiratorial horseshit. I mean, absolutely the cantaloupe in the fruit salad of old InfoWars. Criminy. Okay, here we go. Let's
get rid of. It is speeding up. It is, and we've got to get rid of not we, but you know, Soros has just been a huge.
By the way, we've got to get rid of, and then she catches herself, and not we, obviously, people with guns. But check this out. So name drop a super Jew right out of the gate with Soros, right? We see this all the time. That he's their main boogeyman. Wait till you see where this goes.
Huge sore thumb, you know, with his funding of all this.
The original one is dead. So
the original George Soros is dead. Just so you know, that's what she's talking about. Yeah, so you heard that right. Yeah.
The money is public, so you know they can get at it. It's made public.
Can I have some of it? Like, what do you mean it's public? It's public money? What'd they do? Sit it on a street corner and just say, have at it?
Passed years ago. Okay, let's just. I'll give you that.
Okay.
If you see him out there, it's probably a clone. But you know the clone, as you know from Gene, the clones can't survive for a long time if the original is gone due to quantum, you know, entanglement.
Okay, so there you go. So hold on. So in case you guys missed that, I'll turn this up a little bit. In case you missed that, there are multiple George Soros clones. The original one is dead, but the new ones, they rot or fall off the earth. They stop working because if the original is dead because of quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement, they don't last as long. Yeah, listen to this shit.
Happening.
And by the way, 107 articulates, that's lovely, he's very articulate, 107, how Biden is not in charge. That's the name, that's what, I mean, what algorithm, what scanning software, what anti-lunacy, you know, anti-right-wing, anti-hate speech, anti-violence, you know, algorithm is supposedly brooming this shit off? Because it's not. It's all there.
There's a lot happening. Okay, there's a lot happening.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
they gotta get rid of. It is speeding up. It is, and we've got to get rid of not we, but you know, Soros has just been a huge sore thumb, you know, with his funding of all this.
The original one is dead, so the money is public, so you know they can get at it. It's made public. He's passed years ago. Okay, let's just. I'll give you that.
Okay.
If you see him out there, it's probably a clone, but you know the clone, as you know from Gene, the clones can't survive for a long time if the original is gone due to quantum, you know, entanglement.
Right. So yeah. George Soros and his clone are like this, and George is on top. This is.
You know, because the original always kind of has control over the clones.
That's reassuring. I always thought, what if my clone goes rogue and decides to reorganize my spice rack, you know, in a way that, you know, the original me isn't signed up for, but apparently there's fail safes.
And yeah, so a lot of things are going.
And it's just, can we just rest on the fucking, hold on. You're just gonna go, so yeah, at the end of a statement about how George Soros is dead and there are clones running around, but they don't last long because of quantum entanglement, and his money is public and is just being used by God knows who, but apparently a massive group of recloning people to pay for BLM and Antifa. And then you're just gonna go, yeah, so yeah, that's just, anyways, pass the butter.
Going on, and you know, it's nonstop.
Yeah, well, it would have to be. I mean, you have to constantly make new clones. The shit model that they put out now. I mean, honestly, like you can't find, you know, craftsmanship anymore.
He's gone. He's long gone. but he was funding Pueblos Sin Fronteras.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Which were bringing up the illegals from Honduras into Guatemala, where they were putting in, as Donald Trump said, where they were putting in the terrorists.
Okay, so George Soros was funding Hondurans or Guatemalans. I don't quite know which one's arriving where. It's and in Guatemala, that's where they were inserting into the crowds terrorists, and then they all come up here.
From Yemen and other places.
Well, sure, it would be Yemen.
Right.
That's the CIA. There you go. That's in Guatemala.
Yeah, the CIA in Guatemala is putting Yemeni terrorists into crowds of Guatemalans and sending them. I'm getting a nosebleed. Can you? And they talk about this shit all the time. And it's just this like reinforcing echo chamber where everybody just nods. You can say the crazy, I swear to God, I could get on one of these shows and just make up the craziest shit. Most of these people are actually walking asteroids. They landed here. They're sentient stones from another planet. And somebody would just start nodding. And then by the third show, they'd be going, well, the asteroid people are here. And there's no argument whatsoever. I mean, you could go back.
And sending them up. They've caught a lot of them already.
Thank God. Well, Biden apparently is doing a much better job of catching the Yemeni terrorists that the CIA is putting into the crowd. What?
Stuff is going on. Our POTUS is very happy because...
By the way, they still think Trump is president. So everything that's good is Trump, and everything that's bad is he's just waiting to fix it until later because he doesn't want to upset people.
Almost everyone that went against him and voted to have him impeached is being booed. We have Mitt Romney being booed.
By the way, I am not being booed. I voted against him. And by the way, who's Mitt Romney got booed, and then who else? Wait, sorry, who else?
Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney got booed. Okay.
Barely hanging on, not being censured. We have all the rest of them being censured in the home states. Bye-bye, Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. Bye-bye, Susan Collins, you big rhino.
Oh, yeah.
Bye-bye, Mitt Romney from that boot off the stage.
Mick Romney.
I mean, and we have from...
Hal, you should start your own Q channel just to say how many nuts you can collect. Dude, Thomas, I'm not kidding. I could make... I mean, the clicks that I get being a legitimate human being funny about politics that I see... and actually being able to interpret reality, honest to God, it's not a growth industry. Facts and reality are not a growth industry right now. I mean, they're worth it. They're worth the investment. Don't get me wrong. But this is how people go, oh shit, a mega church. Ba-ching!
From your beautiful state of Pennsylvania, whom I exposed, another corrupt attorney, Kathy Bookvar. Kathy... You got taken out for not helping the LGBTQ community, but we have tapes on you talking about the, what can I say? I got to use...
Just say what you actually said.
Very carefully.
Why do you have to phrase it very carefully? You just said George Soros is dead and he has multiple clones running around spending his money, which is public, and the clones die quickly because of quantum entanglement. What are you worried about embarrassing yourself about?
The 150 pieces of paper that you deliver, the bees, with paper. With the
oh, they're saying ballots. That's, I mean, apparently they're under the impression you can't say ballot.
Bees that you delivered to Philly, and the 150,000 pieces of bee that you delivered to Philly, and the 300,000 pieces of bee that you delivered to Pittsburgh for your Governor Wolf, so he could get onto the cabinet of Joe Biden. and you see every single pic of Joe Biden's been a total radical. And 60 Minutes, have you gone off the deep end? Everyone that you have, that last guy, the
All right. I mean, basically, this is where it goes from like this, and this is essentially one of my biggest problems, is that they'll go into this kind of rudimentary cabinet politics, and they'll go, this guy did this and helped him win this election so that he could get a cabinet position, which is kind of your run-of-the-mill corrupt politician accusation. And then sidecar it with, they're going to chip us all. Like, you don't understand. There's no overlap in this. There is no run-of-the-mill corruption is not necessary if you have a baby-eating pedivore cabal running the world in tunnels underneath. Like, why would it's okay? So next, obviously, like I can't go through all these. This is this guy Michael Jacko, Scott McKay. It's Michael over here. Scott McKay, who calls himself Patriot Street Fighter. He's one of these people who, LARPs the Punisher symbol a lot because he thinks it makes him macho. And this woman, Mel K. Mel K also showed up on Roseanne's show when she had one on. And they're still, I mean, how do you go on Zoom and talk about shit that is apparently like there's a murderous cabal that will stop you and it's time to rise up and fight. Okay, just check this shit out. Check and understand. None of these assholes are skipping a meal. Half of them are snacking during their show. They're all using Zoom to communicate. There is no part of this where legitimately they are protecting themselves from some sort of secret group, that's secretly running the world. It's embarrassing.
There isn't a shortage of money. There's a dearth of greedy, horrible demons who have been hoarding the money from the masses. So
yeah. So, by the way, this is progressive populism as interpreted through the brainstem of right-wing psychopaths. These are the exact same human beings. They just envision themselves, these guys, and effectively like the farthest reaches of Antifa who think you should burn down the whole system and, and forcibly enact communism and Marxism at the end of a bayonet. That crowd and this crowd, same fucking people. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about like there is no center, there's just planet Earth, and then these assholes are on moon-based asshole. So watch this.
As much as I agree we're going to feel pain, and I do fear that these demons in there right now, if they have their ability to pull a full-on color revolution here and let NATO or UN troops come into America, that's when you're going to see people that...
By the way, this is all like we've been hearing this shit for decades. It just has got the internet gave it a force accelerator. But this is the kind of stuff that bounced around in Timothy McVeigh's head. This is absolutely the same shit you used to hear on InfoWars all the time about Jade Helm and Agenda 21 and all that kind of stuff. They just like... Now it's just a circle jerk of nodding assholes all agreeing that it's just true.
That have never stand up and go out and fight. Americans are not going to allow that next move, and I think that's in their dance card is pulling in the UN. Yeah,
so keep in mind, it's really easy to say if this thing that's never going to happen happens, then these folks are going to get all tough and kick ass. It's a super easy sell. You can say it anywhere because it's never going to be checked. There aren't UN and NATO troops going to enter the United States and enforce some sort of black-white civil war thing. This is like helter-skelter level nonsense. And yet, by calling this out, they go, yeah, totally. And then watch this asshole's response.
Yeah. Look how many guys like Mike, look how many guys out there like you in this country. Right. Look how many there are. Think of what happens when...
Former military is what he means.
Just one organizer says, you know what? We did it everywhere else around the world. Now it's time to do it here. There's just no way.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's happening. Like a lot of people like us that are standing up and, we're
Zoom calling on jack-off corner of the internet shows, trying to get other people who are lunatics to drive their car up onto the Capitol lawn and open fire on strangers. What fight? What fight?
we're three gladiators in the ring right now.
Listen to these dickheads. Three gladiators in the ring. Well, I, for one, am not entertained. Hold on, I'll turn this up.
Slugging it out, back to back. And
okay, hold on. Let me back this up for you guys. Oops.
People are
listen to this. It says, you know what?
Right.
Look how many there are. Think of what happens when just one organizes. It says, you know what? We did it everywhere else around the world. Now it's time to do it here. There's just no way.
No. Yeah, and that's what's happening. Like a lot of people like us that are standing up and we're three gladiators in the ring right now. Slugging it out. Back.
You're three dickheads on webcams using Zoom to call for basically your own version of the Great Day of the Rope.
Back, and people are taking notice and like, hey, these guys are like, let's join them. Let's get in this fight. Let's make this happen. And it's
what fight? You're just lying about the election because you've lost. What fight? This dude all the time is using the whole like there's tunnels of kids underground and we got to fight to get them out and blah blah blah. Which, on its face, I don't have a problem with people that want to murder pedophiles. Like in my heart of hearts, I think I'd probably have the same visceral reaction if I was confronted with a circumstance where that was an option right in front of me in a circumstance that had no other route. You know what I mean? Where, like, if they're being arrested and taken away, I'm not going to just leap out of a crowd and choke the shit out of them and bypass the judicial system and then find out 5 years later that it was actually his brother and they got the wrong laptop and then I've killed the wrong person. It's kind of why we have a judicial system. But these assholes like to hide behind that the existence of this cabal nonsense so that they can just have these, like, LARPing jack-off fests about what kind of war they're going to create on the streets of America.
And it's a digital war. It's not a normal.
No, it's not a normal war where you'd actually have to put your life on the line and actually think about strategy and stuff. It's a digital war. He just said it. It's a Zoom war. Where were you on the Battle of Zoom? Oh, I lost a good friend of mine to a bad green screen. Fuck off.
Normal war where, people are out, shooting bullets or, throwing spears or whatever.
Yeah, that's a normal war. Shooting bullets and throwing spears. Apparently the last normal war was the British Zulu War. What?
It's our mouths. Our mouths are getting, the action.
Yeah, your mouths are spears.
The traction that we need to move forward. So I see when you guys share stuff and I share stuff, it does make it to the national news now. It's starting to.
Yes, because there's reason to be concerned that lunatics like you or the people that you are speaking to on the internet will murder people because they lost the vote.
To make it up there. And I haven't seen this yet until now. I'm seeing it almost every night. The stuff that we talk about on our end is now being talked about by our president, Trump, and a lot of other people. I see it the next day. It's like, okay, we're all in this together.
He's listening to no one else. The reason Trump says this shit is because that's all he pays attention to. He thinks these assholes actually like him, actually love him, actually believe he's a valuable president, and not that they are deluded maniacs who belong to a church that somehow used him as an emblem.
We're starting to get some traction here. We're seeing House Republicans right now that introduced a bill to fire Dr. Fauci.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And did it get entered into committee? Did it make it out on the floor? Did it get voted on? So basically, if anybody enters a bill into the public record that I agree with, then that means I'm right, even if it doesn't go through. So you're arguing that the Green New Deal, because it has a lot of co-sponsors, certainly more than the Fire Dr. Fauci one, is more valid than other bills, than just rando thought.
Yeah,
well,
that and I was talking about this. I know we have all been talking about this, how
Yes, yes, that's what the human centipede does. You all circulate each other's waste.
Fauci has been involved in Wuhan labs and sending taxpayer money there, and now
No, he hasn't.
it's gaining traction. They're going to start.
Because look, and by the way, guys, you know how Rand Paul's videos with Fauci are all funny and embarrassing, and they make their way around Twitter and all that kind of shit? Rand Paul is reinforcing this shit. This goes to Flashpoint. Flashpoint gets it to the Rand Pauls of the world. Rand Paul makes it onto the floor of the Senate.
To start to take these guys out in front of us instead of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I absolutely agree with that. I mean, you and I think when we did a show, talked about that gain of function research. The only reason to do it is to create a biological weapon. And finally, Rand Paul called him out and he lied. He lied and he said, no, I didn't do that. And then he said, yeah, through the Bio Alliance you did. And all these shell companies that they use and all of that.
Ooh.
And
Rand Paul did?
Yeah.
Yes, see what I mean? So everybody's like, it's no big deal. It's Rand Paul. He's being a jack off or whatever. He's doing it on their behalf. This is the Ron Paul revolution crowd, by the way. This is just them birthing into that. These are these are sovereign citizens who think the Constitution is a single piece of paper you carry in your wallet like the driver's license, and you can apply it as you see fit as a free American in their mind. And therefore, that means they have more legal authority than, say, a cop or a soldier in circumstances. So if a National Guard person says, we're closing the street, there's a flood ahead, and they're like, no, I want to go home, they can shoot that National Guard soldier in their mind to get to their house because free America. That's, I mean, honest to God. Oh, we'll get to Lynn Wood. Yeah. Let's hop on to this. Here's Wano Savin looking out another hotel window. Here's a little breaking bit of Wano Savin.
Between, who is involved in that. And we have a contingent that's out here really working against the president and working against the country. And they're in these three-letter agencies. If you haven't seen that, you're not.
So, by the way, CIA, FBI, DNI, anybody who works in the upper government that somehow doesn't gargle Trump's balls is now an enemy of the state mole inside these organizations.
You're not paying attention. That goes all the way back with the Dossier and everything else. So knowing that.
By the way, the Dossier is absolutely real and verified. I mean, like, Chris Steele slept with Ivanka. He brought it to the Washington Examiner, hired Fusion GPS to get this thing made because they were trying to get rid of Trump, because they were kind of part of the Never Trump crowd because they saw what he really was. Then when he won the primary, or looked like he was going to win the primary, they're like, well, we're not going to use it. We're just going to back him because we're Republicans with an R on our shirt, and through and through, it doesn't matter who runs the thing. And so he took it to the Hillary Clinton campaign, the DNC, and they bought it. He's like, I'll let you pay for it, and I'll give it to you. They bought it, and they were like, we can't use this. We're going to win anyways. And so he went to the FBI, went to John McCain, went to the FBI, and went, this dude's a fucking criminal.
This was policing and a military contingent that went in there, took control of a facility that was technically under our control anyway, and seized servers and materials there at that location that technically are really the property of the United States government anyway. And
so that's what the military, this is what according to 107, this is what our military has been doing. We've been attacking our own sites and seizing our own stuff in the United States.
And then we'll get to the bottom of who's behind what and how that fits somewhere.
Yeah, you want to wait until after the military has attacked the other part of the military and the CIA has attacked the CIA to figure out what for and why and where and
along the way. One component that's not known out in the public so far, and
oh boy, here comes breaking. This has got to be amazing. Okay.
And I know it just because I've been on it for months.
Sure. What? On what? Methamphetamines?
There's a connection between this Seidel Dominion computer vote system, and Switzerland. And
well, sure. I mean, there would be. I mean, it hasn't been mentioned yet, and obviously,
in a bankruptcy operation, Switzerland got the Swiss post office got control of that voting system. So there's an angle there, and I know the players involved. I know what the assertion.
Oh, okay, sorry. Hold on, because I'm gonna have to call Arizona. It wasn't the Chinese. It wasn't the Iranians. It wasn't Russia. It wasn't the deep state. It wasn't the Democrats. It wasn't Joe Biden's crime family that hacked our election. It was the Swiss post office. For fuck's sake. The Swiss post office. The post office.
Assertions are, it's still got to be fleshed out a bit. And I've actually been in communication with folks to decide how that maybe is going to proceed.
What? Proceed what? Either you have information that the Swiss attacked us on our and installed Biden as president and booted Trump to Mar-a-Lago using the post office bankruptcy laws? For fuck's sake. And there's hours of this shit. How long is this one?
Who's going to proceed to go look into that? But there's an angle there, even into the Swiss government. That
Christ almighty. Like, this isn't even done. This is a live broadcast. It's still going. It's been going for an hour and a half. Okay, we're at the 45-minute mark. It goes on another hour and a half. Good fucking God. So we got to the bottom of it, guys. Arizona, call it off. Yeah, it wasn't Maricopa County Board of Supervisors that was fucking with the election. No, it was the Swiss post office. Fuck. And guys, if you think that's ridiculous, if you've seen their knives, you should see their post office. It's like tack, 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 tack. Voting for, they got voter fraud, they got cyber attacks, they got oil price manipulation, and a toothpick. Fuck. Okay, so here's the dude in the folding bear head. This guy also has a CGI bear head that he uses. Because what you do when you're a true patriot is hide behind a cardboard mask.
Truth, far and wide.
This guy's going to bring the truth far and wide, which is why he's wearing a shining cosplay head.
And folks, it is my belief that according to our favorite truth teller, Lynn Wood.
Oh, Lynn Wood's in on this. Awesome.
That we're not wondering what date our favorite president is going to announce that he is the president again, but we're waiting for the date when our favorite president announces he never left.
Ah, there we go. So Lynn Wood, this dude is a follower of Lynn Wood, and the belief is that Trump isn't going to seize the White House in August. He's still president. He's still doing everything. Biden's just driving trucks around and pretending. All the good stuff that Biden is doing that's really popular with Republicans is actually stuff that Trump is doing from Mar-a-Lago.
Let's have a look at this latest article. It says,
yeah, let's look at it.
Donald Trump will be returning to do what he loves to do almost more than anything.
Fantasize about fucking Vanky. No. Golf. Cheating at golf. No. Eating fish delights. What else? I mean, there's got to be there's so many things. It's such a long list. Eat fast food. Okay, we'll see. All right, 1 second.
He is returning to doing his rallies ahead of a possible 2024 presidential campaign.
Very exciting. He's going to start rallying again. He's going to do these rallies. He's going to beer push his way all around the country, barnstorming, giving these short, concise, well-crafted speeches that just make the hearts of every patriot swell and aren't just blathering, whiny gripe fests followed by YMCA, I'm sure.
Here's my opinion, folks. That is what I'm holding out for as a worst case scenario.
Well, did you hear that? Did you hear what he said? Worst case scenario, Trump has to run in 2024.
Our favorite president running in 2024 and making it through the end of a Biden regime and surviving. But again, that is a worst case scenario.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, it would be from someone who's wearing a cardboard bear head.
As crisis after crisis are engulfing the entire world, in the first several months after Joe Biden began his residence in the White House. Notice
Notice he said, what?
say his residence in the White House, and they don't say his presidency. Trump will.
What? The White House is the president's residence. They do say president all the time. President Biden, he's the president. He was voted in. He's sworn in as the president. He's the president of the United States. But like, what? Who's they? Who? Your friends? Your fellow barnyard animals that were made of cardboard?
Trump will take advantage and hold two
Winnie the Turd.
rallies in June, the Daily Mail reported. He will follow those two rallies with another one on July 3rd, and the Trump team is in the process of selecting the venues at which to
Fix your hat.
hold the rallies. It's my opinion that when all of this is said and done, our favorite president will go down as the greatest president in the history of the United States.
Well, I mean, so far Obama's doing pretty great, and history's treating him very well. Oh, you know me?
He's a great patriot. When I think of great patriots, I think of men like Donald J. Trump and Lynn Wood.
Yeah, that's basically the two, right? Is this Mike Lindell dressed as a furry?
General Flynn, Mike Pompeo,
I'm just scared to go to Best Buy and ask for help.
Dan Scavino, just to name a few.
Yeah.
Next, I'm going to bring you an interview with Lynn Wood in which he talks about the fake inauguration of the Biden regime. He says everyone who attended.
So I'm confused. I mean, this is a genuine question. I'm going to hop to the next one because we've watched that actual interview, I think. If there's crisis after crisis, follow me on this. I know I'm losing you. If there's crisis after crisis and Biden isn't the real president and he has no actual powers, and Trump is still president, aren't these all his crises? Right? Is there not? How is he still president, but the problems aren't his? Oh yeah, the Biden regime, they're going to say shit like that a lot.
Is guilty of treason will face either a firing squad or be hung.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. So, by the way, YouTube, there's yet another dude calling for people to. That's why Lynn Wood lost his Twitter account and why a lot of his YouTube stuff got pulled down, because he was suggesting people need to face a firing squad, and this was a call to violence because there is no governmental firing squad that they were going to meet. He was just saying, if the government doesn't do it, then real patriots have to, and that's it. Yeah. So this asshole's just parroting that while wearing a bear hat. That's fine, I guess, right? But hey, as long as he didn't play any copyrighted music. These dickheads. Okay, first of all, I'm beginning to wonder if there are any wiggy wagga Q patriots that don't have to be on a CPAP every night. I'm just saying. By the way, is Pelosi, they're taking questions from their chat. Is Pelosi still mauling down $12,000 a gallon ice cream, spelled with an E for what, with her fat lizard lips? Two Z's, I'm guessing, because they're assuming she's a lesbian. Lips and fake wig. Well, if it's fake hair, it's a real wig. But I digress. Hashtag asking for a friend, and they think it's funny. Okay, so I'm me, that's right, is asking this question.
And it's not her anymore anyway. It was a clone. Then they got a double that's like 35 years younger than he is.
Okay, so just in case you were thinking it was just George Soros, they had a Nancy Pelosi clone. They got rid of it, obviously, because she was killed at Guantanamo a few years ago when Trump, ordered all of them taken out with the deep state and all that 2 years ago. And then they replaced her with a clone. God knows why they wouldn't just fake her death. I mean, but whatever, we'll just leave that. And then they replaced her with a lookalike, and they're paying her an odd compliment saying the replacement is 35 years younger because she looked great. It's not the adrenochrome, no.
James Wood is doing a wonderful job, but you just...
And then we're just going to name drop James Wood. James Woods is doing a believable job. It's the best. This is the best acting review he's ever... How's James Woods acting in this movie? He's doing a believable job. I mean, what more can you ask for, honestly, from an actor? It's believable. James Woods is doing a believable job.
You just want it to be over, don't you? I do. Trump's...
Yeah, that's what I always think when I watch a James Woods movie.
Brother is alive. He plays a double for him in Florida.
Oh, good. All right. So his brother, who died of alcohol poisoning or alcoholism, never died. So Trump was always lying about that, and he was lying about that so that he could have his brother play him, who looks nothing like him.
When you see him down there, and he don't never talk much, once in a while, the real one will show up, but the lookalike always wears the hat way down like this because they don't have the same hairline. And he doesn't say but a few words in point. He's his brother playing a double. He didn't die. He had plastic surgery.
Well, that's fucking amazing. That he don't ever talk much. He wears his hat down low because they ain't got the same hairline. And all he does is say a few choice words in point.
And if you go back and look at the pictures, he looks a lot like his brother. And what a little plastic surgery, he looks an awful lot.
Yeah, a little plastic surgery.
A lot like his brother. Elvis and Trump are in the same bloodlines.
Oh, Elvis and Trump, royal bloodline! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. This is from a fellow in their chat room. His name is Richard War. And by the way, dude, what the fuck are you doing besides sitting there holding the hutch up? Did he doze off? Why is he doing all the work with the Great Awakening and the picture of Trump and then the American flag and the capitalism Coke thing, which...
So you take Trump's uncle was personal friends with Tesla. What is...
By the way, Nikola Tesla, not the company.
What does that say? They got all of his inventions, all of them. And it just comes out of all the cures for cancer, the cures for heart disease.
Wait a minute. So Trump's family is friends with Tesla, and they got all of Tesla's inventions. They have the cure for cancer. They have all these free energy forever, all this shit. And he became president, and he did fuck all with it. What? What happened? I'll give you that, I don't know if it's true at all, but let's just give you that Trump's dad was friends with Nikola Tesla. And that Nikola Tesla, when he died, left his money to his pigeon and left all the inventions to Fred Trump. And Fred Trump, instead of using them to become a trizillionaire, decided to become a slumlord in New York. This is fucking amazing.
The cures for arthritis, the cures, they have all the cures.
Yeah. Do they have a cure for keeping this motherfucker awake? Look, I know.
Naturally, not by drugs.
Well, no, of course not. Special space machines from Tesla's brain.
Who is Trump's brother? I don't know his first name. I'm sorry.
Hurting, pains shooting through the brains. This dude could not be a bigger fucking fan. Yes. And his older brother, Fred, that it was named after his father, was who died of alcohol. And then Robert, who died of COVID. This asshole has a picture of Trump on his wall. And he doesn't know. And he's convinced that he knows his dad was friends with Tesla and has all these supercomputer space machines that zap cancer and arthritis out of you, but he doesn't know the dude's fucking brother's name?
But he's the one that supposedly died last year. Remember when he went to New York?
Dude, stop breathing on your fucking mic. God, and both of these guys have breathing problems. And if there's an intervention to be done, if they don't have a CPAP they're on, which I can't believe, they both need to be on one because they're going to die. This guy is breathing through his hard palate every goddamn show.
I would like to see Pelosi's house mowed to the ground.
Whoa! And there you have it. I'm sorry, who's getting kicked off of YouTube now? The fuck. Yeah, flag and report time. Bye, guys. Report. It promotes terrorism. Yes, it applies. Next. Wants to see Pelosi's home mowed to the ground. God damn. And by the way, look at these two guys. Before we finish, I'll move on to the next one. Look at these two assholes. And then look at the picture for their Froggy News Network. 1776, their background. 1776, dude with a gun, either an AR or a... Yeah, I can't tell from there, but I'll go with an AR, but more, yeah. So, and then look at this handsome bloke with this strong jawline and his clearly genetically superior features to these dudes. And that's their, oh God. Holy shit. All right. Now, these guys, I mean, obviously, puffy lunatics, right? Who cares? 31,664 views, 20,000 subscribers just on this channel. This gets re-aired on that Sultana Cooking Network shit too, which has 147,000 subscribers. I have 18,000. I mean, I don't have 18 subscribers. But you get my point. By the way, like and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, share, support the show. Holy shit, because I'm not anywhere near the algorithm that these lunatics find themselves in. And I don't get anywhere near the boost in the algorithm that they get. This gets shoved to the front of the fucking line everywhere. How you didn't buy your likes and subs, though? Good point, Heather. Thank you. And all of my followers are absolutely legit. Thanks, Jillian. So thank you guys for your support during this. And by the way, patreon.com/HouseSparks. We're still trying to reach 1,000. These guys have like 8,000. It's fucking crazy. All right. So these guys are kooky. This dude in the bear hat, of course, laughable. More Zoom calls from these same assholes. They're all barking at each other. Look at this graphics. Look how nice my show is put together with the little signature, and I boxed in the thing, and I created a background so that the video was behind it, so that if I move the video or had to move it, it stays behind this thing so it doesn't fuck up the entire look of the show. And then my little Pachinko machine thing so that when you guys get bits on Twitch and subscribe and follow on there, please do. Whenever we get a hype train and that kind of stuff, that little Pachinko machine fills up on the front of the little spark that I made. And I've worked on this stuff. Look at this crap. Look at this Wano Savin picture slapped on here. The date, live news, Wano Savin twice. Latest news, Wano Savin like 4 times on this thing in the middle of her, sitting in front of her weird, like, it's a lobby of something. Bizarre. So anyways, how does this, I mean, these people are all lunatics. But surely there are no people considered legit who parry around. Oh, shit. I'm going to do a whole thing on a Russell Brand video in an upcoming show when it's sort of newsworthy. When's this one from? This is May 12th. So it's not timely. He's doing shit about how, was COVID created in a lab in Wuhan and kind of pushing that idea. Which the majority of the stuff he's doing online now is centered around this kind of soft progressive idea of destruction of the West. Destroy all things Western, including our judicial system and our methods of voting and all that kind of stuff, while clamoring for sort of an anarchist uprising. I mean, it's pretty regular, but because he's got the history that he does, he's sort of the British Joe Rogan right now on this stuff. And 619,000 views, 3.2 million subscribers. Yikes. So, all right, let's grab this lady. This is the lady talking about what's happening in Atlanta right now. This is a little slice of this thing, and then we're going to look at her Rudy thing. Give me 1 second.
With another update very soon for you guys once I hear what is going on.
Okay,
All right,
sorry.
Thank you for joining me. All right, I have an update for you guys regarding...
This is an update. Remember, you got to look through the eyes of a viewer. These are people who watch this shit and want to know when Trump is going to be president again and how the election fraud is being handled. That's what they want to see.
Georgia and some very interesting things that are going on. Specifically today, like right now as you're
the second.
watching this.
Oh, she's quiet? Hold on. Sorry. There we go.
Something is going on. Let me read this to you. The article that I'm referencing is in the description box below here. All right, so Vernon Jones.
Okay, hold on. Articles in the description box. Oh, it's Gateway Pundit and the Epoch Times. Shocking.
Has scheduled a press conference today in Atlanta.
Vernon Jones has scheduled a press conference in Atlanta that day about something.
To call for a full overview of you-know-what.
She means the election.
It's going on right now, all right? So he tweeted that yesterday and by...
No, Russell Brand lives in... Somebody in the chat was asking. He lives in England.
All of Georgians to gather with him at...
House just passed the January 6th commission. That's awesome, EO. Thanks for letting us know. I mean, they're going to, but yeah, that's amazing. Hooray! It's going to get ugly. Wait till we get to do that testimony. Holy shit.
At Liberty Plaza in Atlanta at 11.
Liberty Plaza.
Georgia.
33 Republicans voted for it. Excellent.
Time. All right, so that's what, Eastern?
Yes,
okay.
It's Eastern.
Right now, we know that Georgia is missing some very, very important stationery, like over 330,000.
By the way, she says this about Georgia. If you'll notice, Kirsten W. said this about Pennsylvania. Other people are saying it about Arizona. That 300,000 number is everywhere. It's also bullshit, but they just tack it onto whatever state they're talking about. They mean ballots.
Of them. All right. So they're missing the required chain of custody documentation, making those pieces of paper, that stationery, illegitimate.
No, they aren't. They do not. And if 300,000 of those ballots, I'll bet this lady's hipster glasses that if there were 300,000 missing ballots or ballots that had to be tossed out, and they threw them all out, Biden would ultimately gain an edge.
All right.
Thanks, Jane.
But the Georgia Secretary of State ignored the fact that those things are illegitimate and included them in the final counts, giving the winner, the current White House president winner,
the current White House president winner.
The current up-to-date, whatever you want to call it.
You mean the president of the United States, the guy who actually won the election?
That's not accurate or fair. Sorry, I'm being discreet. None of my videos are like going through, so I'm just...
Bullshit. This is also another lie they press. Like, oh my God, my videos are being taken down. And I'm not even, like, you hear this shit all the time. All of her stuff is up. Nobody cares. House chat whizzes by faster than the Roadrunner. It's a lot.
I'm just trying to work with what I got right now, right?
Nothing. You are banging two brain cells together and trying to make a spark. It's not happening.
Okay, so these papers alone will award the state to its rightful winner.
Joe Biden.
What? All right.
Yeah, that they're saying the same bullshit they've been saying in other states. It doesn't turn out. These are the same allegations. You're lunatics.
Guys.
Guys. Okay, that almost got me. All right, so this lovely lady. So this is Dees Inspiration Station. Dees got 35,000 subscribers. She's got 6,545 views on this video alone, right? Dees, guys, it's Dees Inspiration Station. Now, what can we say about Dees Inspiration Station? Well, she's got a very nice Pottery Barn kind of a background wherever she does her show from. The graphic, I'd make it bigger. I wouldn't go fully like, Jimmy Dore, Saddam Hussein on it and make it, half the program. But you could blow this up a little. You could make this a little larger. There's nothing wrong with that. Check this, folks, out. Think about what this show is. Think about if you were a liberal or progressive, if you were just scanning YouTube and you saw this show just by its visual, whether you would click on it and think maybe this lady has a point.
Convince people.
Hold on, this has got to be louder.
To get the chip, just like they have been doing with Big V and the masks.
By the way, Big V is the vaccine.
Now, a lot of stuff has been going on undercover, covert.
She's got a little point and click graphic to get people to subscribe. It works, apparently. I should do something like that.
That people have not even known about concerning the chips, which is why I wanted to talk about it in this video. And
sure, yeah, because nobody.
Let me just say it is very alarming and very concerning. So what I want to do is I just want to dial it back just to kind of get you to see this whole trajectory of how things have been playing out.
Okay, so this is the New World Order's plan for them to get us all chipped.
So first, we know in 2020, like I
when Trump was president,
said before, it started out with masks being optional, and it ramped up very quickly, and they said nope, it's mandatory, and it's mandatory everywhere. And then it ramped up to the point where it was mandatory in a lot of places, even outdoors, right?
Well, yeah, where there were large gatherings of people.
And now we're starting to see this whole thing play out with Big V, where
Big V,
they're saying, oh, well, you should get it. We encourage you to get it. It started, in the latter half of 2020, where they really started talking about Big V. And, now they're really trying to push it, and they're saying, oh, well, a lot of students won't be able to go back to college if they don't have this. And
yeah, because they're adults.
It's working into a place where a lot of people probably won't even be able to go to work if you don't have it. They're requiring it at jobs now.
Right. Because they don't want you coming in there and killing other people who don't have access to it, haven't had it, or their customers.
Which is just really insane. So now, get ready for part 3.
Here it comes. Part 3. We missed part 1 and 2, but it's never too late to start binging a lunatic theory.
Yes, it is coming. So, first of all, I just want to say that before
you're editing this, you can fix things like this.
Mandate anything, they will try to convince people to get it. So
before they mandate something, they will suggest it. So you should be wary of any suggestions.
Right now, they're still in the mostly convincing people to get Big V phase, but a lot of it is moving into the mandatory phase if you want to feed your family, if you want to educate yourself, or do certain activities.
Where you might kill other people. This is basically substitute COVID for measles and you understand why they have breakouts in schools that end up killing kids.
Like right now, they're basically saying, okay, well, for people who are fully V'd up, you will be able to go outdoors. You will be able to go in.
Everyone can go outdoors.
Indoors, most
Everybody has been able to go outdoors.
Places without wearing a mask.
Right, because you are not shedding enough virus to give it to anyone else, and you're protected against it and the majority of the strains that we've seen.
Right? That's kind of the dangling of the carrot. See, you get this, and this is what we do.
That's not, again, there's a bunch of these assholes who look at this stuff like it's a reward instead of just reality. You know what I mean? Like wearing helmets, and if you put on your seatbelt, you can drive wherever you want. But if you don't have your seatbelt on, you might get pulled over, and then that will interfere with your freedoms for a little while. And if you do it enough times, you might lose your license, which will interfere with your freedom even more. So they try to reward you with the idea that you could just drive with a seatbelt by saying you can go anywhere you want in your car as long as you're wearing a seatbelt. You won't get pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt if you have a seatbelt on. Never mind the fact that if you're not wearing a seatbelt and you're in an accident, your fucking head caves into the windshield and yeah.
Do for you, and a lot of people are going to be like, oh man, it sounds really good. And even in Ohio, they have it.
Even in Ohio?
They have a lottery where they're basically giving 5 people $1 million if you get your V's. And, that sounds very tempting, especially for people, you don't have a lot of money,
Right. I mean, and having a clone is expensive.
It sounds good. I'd love to have $1 million right.
Right. But, I mean, you have to be a part of the great Satan or something.
Right now. But, we are to not be deceived by this kind of stuff.
No, not $1 million.
This is why, a lot of people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So you need to hear this and get this and not allow yourself to be deceived by these dangling carrots.
Dangling carrots. Carrots.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot.
Oh my God. Mike Pence was just dangling his wife in front of all of us.
So now we're moving into the phase of chips.
Yeah, phase 3 is chips. Phase 2 was dip. Phase 1 was wings.
So a lot of people did not know that early last year, they were already working on plans to roll out chips right here in the United States.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't the American government want to chip every American when, because isn't that the real enemy?
They were working with a company called Dangerous Things.
Dangerous Things. All right.
This is a company who makes chips.
Sure, they make chips. Yeah, absolutely. Dangerous chips.
And basically, this company was wanting to make these chips for a lot of employers. So they were working on different legislation, and they were trying to have employers implement this into the workplace.
Right. So you'd have to get a chip inserted into you to work at a job.
So in the workplace, if you have a microchip implanted into your skin, they're saying you implant it in your right hand underneath the skin.
Sure.
And this basically,
why not up the nose where the old ones that they used, the UFO people, I'm sorry, I digress.
Operates as an ID badge. So when you go into work in the morning, if you forget your ID badge, no problem. You just take this and you scan yourself in, you scan yourself into the printer. And I believe one company in Sweden, they had it.
Wait a minute. In Sweden? Excuse me. This is an American show for American conspiracy theorists with American paranoia?
Where you could even use that as kind of like a company card, where if you wanted food on property, you could use that to buy different things at the company.
And then they went, it's just easier to give people a badge that like a lanyard.
So we see that they're already, rolling that out. They pretty much.
Yeah, that's already, they pretty much it's done. Pretty much, some companies, they're talking about chipping people so they can use the vending machines at work. It's a slippery slope to
rolled that out in a lot of places in Sweden, and they were working to bring that here to the U.S. A lot of people didn't know
What?
about that, and this was like
How do you not know about it? It would be an employee base. All right.
January, February. You know, they were working on this. They were probably working on it, I believe, late 2019, even before that. But this is when they were really starting to talk about it and work with different companies to roll out the chips. There were states like California, Michigan, who said, no, you know, we won't mandate this in the state, but they left it open as an optional thing. So the company Dangerous Things, they ended.
So companies, private companies, can ask their private employees to do this if they want as an option, freedom. But because California didn't mandate it, but they allowed people to do it voluntarily, that's a sign that they're going to insert it all up. We're all going to get anally probed by aliens. I just know that's where this ends
ended up only selling, I think, maybe a couple hundred or so chips. And I believe they made like a couple 100,000 of chips because they were really hoping to roll it out on a mass level.
So this was a failed company?
But they weren't able to do that. So it was just kind of like a disappointing thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was at that time. Now it's not. Now they're just like, we just need them smaller so we can inject them.
Then comes the big C, right? Where, okay.
Cancer?
Okay, we're going to lock everything down. Don't leave your house and all of that.
Yeah, they didn't say that.
And people are like, well, what the heck?
No one said don't leave your house and all that.
Is really going on. I just want to say, don't be scared to ask questions.
Yeah, I have a bunch. I just don't think you'll like them.
We're living in a time where they will make you feel guilty for asking questions.
You're not asking questions. You're posing hypotheses and pretending they're questions. These are leading questions. And this is your backing off going, look, I'm just asking questions.
Because, you know, they're like, why you don't trust science? You know, why are you questioning this? Just do it. No.
Is that what they're saying?
No. We're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. It is okay.
We're destroyed for a lack of knowledge. This has got to be a Bible verse or something, right?
Okay to question things. It is okay.
Yes, I agree. I'm questioning your sanity. I'm questioning your reasoning. I'm questioning your paranoia.
Okay to be curious.
This isn't curiosity. You've made up your mind. You're not curious about this stuff. This is paranoia.
Right.
This is the same bullshit Tucker Carlson. I'm just asking questions here.
You don't need to just trust science.
Well,
you
Lee,
need to trust God and what he is saying.
Huh? What is he saying?
That is the
asshole. I sent you 2 helicopters and 2 boats and a helicopter.
Problem. We are putting our trust in man. And unfortunately, a lot of these people.
What? You're a human being. Why should anybody trust you? The fuck are you talking about?
All they're doing is trying to implement the mass one world government agenda. They don't.
The masked one world government agenda. Well, apparently they're fucking that up because they just said you don't have to wear a mask.
Don't care about people individually. That is the bottom line of it. So let me give you a little bit of information about this chip.
Okay, great. It's an RFID chip.
It's a new medical microchip developed by the Defense Advanced Research Projects.
DARPA.
It's a military lab unit working under the U.S. Department of Defense. So originally, what they're trying to do currently is roll this out for Navy SEAL workers. And this chip it's a microchip that's designed to be implanted under the skin. It can detect, see, in the bloodstream within minutes. This chip is basically compatible with your devices. So with your phone, your iPad, and
at this point, she's really actually doing a better job selling this thing. I think I might get one at this point.
And you can have your results back to you the next day.
The next day? I can have the results back to me the next day by going to a regular... I can have them the same day by going to a testing site. Why the fuck would I have a chip that tells me on my phone tomorrow?
Letting you know whether you have any C in your bloodstream.
I hope we're talking about COVID or cancer and not... ejaculate.
And, they're working on things where they're saying, okay, well, we can detect it early. We can help you get rid of it at an earlier stage. So
yeah, but that's how they get you.
this sounds very tempting to a lot of people. They're like, oh my gosh.
Wait a minute, $1 million and a chip under my skin that tells my phone tomorrow if I've got a disease that could kill me today?
You can detect it early. It won't cause any long-term problems. Yeah, a lot of people are going to sign. They're going to say, sign me up for this. I'm going to stick out my hand and just put it in there. I'm game. That's just what's going to happen with a lot of people.
You mean the survivors? People who live to be like 500 years old because they don't get diseases anymore because they go to the doctor and go, "Bling." No, you don't have cancer or anything. Okay, see you in 6 months. If your phone acts up, 2 days from now, if your phone says you got cancer, let me know.
The microchip itself is carried in a green tissue-like gel.
Yummy.
When implanted, the microchip will be able to display chemical reactions in the body, which signals the user that C symptoms will appear the next day. So this chip will continuously test any C symptoms.
Oh my God, I can't. This is too boring. Again, is this shit been taken down? It's been struck? No. You know why? What do these all have in common? Let's see this final one. By the way, this one I haven't seen. This is a Rudy G update. It's only a minute 36. 38? Minute 38.
Welcome back to my channel. My name
Well, I feel welcomed and thanks for having us. And it's great. And I love what you've done with the walls.
is Hillary Hill. Thank you for
Hi, Hillary Hill. And why are you wearing a nurse's gown, like a patient's gown, like you're at a loony bin still?
joining me. All right. Are any of you guys following along Rudy Giuliani and his case that is going on?
Oh, yes. You could say that I've been following the case. You could absolutely say that, ma'am.
If you are, keep watching because I have a little update for you.
Very exciting.
The link to this article that I am referencing is in the description box.
She's very good at that. She's very organized.
Let me read this to you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Rudy Giuliani's attorneys have denounced how the former New York City mayor is being treated by federal authorities.
Yeah, it's weird when the lawyer for a defendant does that.
In a letter to a Manhattan federal judge, Giuliani's attorneys criticized the April raids of his home and office, stating that it was very unnecessary.
Wow. Did they use actual language like that? That's just vicious.
They also addressed the covert warrant used on his iCloud account back in November 2019.
Right. When Trump was president?
They argue prosecutors are choosing to treat Giuliani like the head of a drug cartel or terrorist in order.
Well, no, and not the head, obviously. A mid-level distributor at best.
In order to create pre-judicial coverage of him and President Donald Trump, of course, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's why you do anything covert, is to create an image of someone. That's why you don't release the information about it. That's why the defendants often don't tell the public about it, that they've been under surveillance for years, because they don't want the public to go, oh shit, they've been looking at you for a couple of years? The fuck have you been doing?
The attorneys are asking the court to unseal affidavits used to support the warrant, saying it will help them argue that it was illegal.
Well, then they don't know that it was illegal. They want the prosecutor's office to do their job for them.
Giuliani has still not been charged with any crimes and has continued to fully maintain his innocence.
Well, that's good enough for me. I mean, it's good enough for her.
Although everyone else is saying otherwise, right?
Not everyone. Definitely me, though.
What are your guys' thoughts on all of this? Is it just because he's been tied up with President Donald Trump? Is that really what's going on? Let me know your guys'
I don't know. He wears the pedophile pinky ring that you guys always warn us about. So maybe it has something to do with that. He did admit to sleeping with nude pictures of underage girls on a hard drive with it under his pillow, which is a bit sketchy and is technically, I know you guys don't think the law applies to Trump and his ilk, but it's technically a crime.
Guys' thoughts down below. All right, take care. Bye.
Look at that. I'll tell you. Just there you go. Take care. 938 views. It went up today. 12,000 subscribers. There she is. Hillary Hill. That's lovely. New subscriber from New Zealand. Love your truth. Real media. Yeah. Those who scream the loudest have the most to hide. Huh? Yes, I am Hillary. Thank you for your input. Yes, I am Hillary. You're Hillary? It says Heriberto is your name. Thumbs up, fire, American flag from Andre. Political persecution. Why are they bothering Rudy? That's the guy that brought us sanity during 9/11. Political witch hunt as retaliation for fighting against them as Trump's lawyer. They are trying to intimidate anyone who might have something to do with President Trump. I asked about Trump. What is the crime? Yeah, so just to give you an example, that was our first foray into Wacko Wednesday. Holy hell.